it's funny, really, because you even get it in the midfield. So I think Christian Eriksen in that deeper role has been, I'm going to say, very good. I'm not going to say world class. I'm not going to say the best we've seen, but he progresses that ball through the lines from a deep position. But unlike Pogba that could do that part, he's disciplined, stays in his position, doesn't veer off in other areas, does the right thing. And his level of performances are improving McTominay. And more so, they're improving Bruno. And that's because suddenly Bruno doesn't have to have the responsibility of being the person to try and maintain possession, control the tempo, and break the lines with his passes, which isn't his strength. And this has been Man United's problem for a long time. Lack of balance. You have players competing in and playing in roles that they're not that good at doing, or that isn't their specialism, and it creates problems. And it's been square pegs in round holes at this club for a decade, and we are nowhere near fixed, and there is a long, long way to go. But we're seeing these green shoots of hope and saying, okay, well, that partnership's working. You know, we're seeing the midfield now start to be a little bit more conducive. Now, once Casemiro comes in and replaces Scott McTominay, which you will do, you'll then see it go, the midfield go to a slightly, an even a higher level, because then you've got an absolute world-class DM next to a very good ball-playing midfielder, as opposed to a good squad player in McTominay is what he is. But having said that, we sit there and we're sitting there and we're praising the centre backs for how good they've been in these in the games they've played together. They've had Scott McTominay and Eriksen in front of them.
What is all good
results? So it's been good. It's been good.
With McTominay, it's so funny how life works out. I'll tell you, this man has been slandered, dragged from pillar to post, and
by me. I was one of
everyone, by the whole
everybody,
family.
boy.
I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying this is a fact. My United fan base, rightly, for most of the time, wrongly at other times, have dragged him from pillar to post. But right now, we play a second team against Sociedad. McTominay is rested. We play a first team today. McTominay starts and is taken off at half time to rest. Like, McTominay is now rested because he's so key to Ten Hag's plans at the moment. Now, of course, I hope that Casemiro is going to take that position. I expect him to take it. But at the moment, while McTominay is keeping Casemiro on the bench, I'm riding it, because this is not supposed to happen. McTominay is supposed to be out of this team, in play training with the under-23s. Like, he's not supposed to be here. But he's playing so good right now. He's playing so good.
And the thing, he's been better than Casemiro. He has.
He's on merit.
When I've watched them play, I'm like, rah. I want Scott on the pitch, because Casemiro, he's adapting. Some of his passes are loose, you know what I mean? Some of his touches are off. Like, you can tell he's still taking his time, innit? Yeah. Cool, I can deal with that. But if we're being real, I'm like, but it's not like McTominay is doing that also and then getting picked over him. He's actually just been better than him. Like, he has.
You know what's funny? What's it called? When we signed Casemiro, or before we signed him, and we said we need a DM, everybody would have swore up and down that out of the McFred partnership, it would have been Fred starting and McTominay on the bench.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Fred hasn't seen the pitch because McTominay has been balling low-key. And neither has Casemiro, funnily enough. And I mean, it shows how much fans know about football for real.
But do you know what that comes down to, though? That's also because what people tend to do, we all do it to a certain degree, is they project as opposed to give their honest opinions. They say what, and we had a gal this week say, you'll see no difference in Chelsea under Potter in the opening however many games. It's impossible. You're only saying that because you didn't see any change in Arsenal when Arteta first came in. So it's like you want to make it the thing that no manager imprints their identity straight away. And we know that it's just different for different managers. It doesn't make Arteta any worse or better. It's just how it is you're projecting. The same thing here. I know for a fact a manager that knows ball would never pick McTominay because my ball knowledge tells me that. And as I said all along, there'd be a handful of players that, whether it's short, medium, or long term, would improve under this manager and stay in the team. So the one that shocked me the most is I didn't think Delo would look as good as he has been. And he's been very, very good. So I'm wrong about that. I had predicted McTominay would be someone, at least in the first year, who the manager would like, respect, play, and pick, and would improve. Because he has one thing that some of our more talented players in the past haven't had, and that's the want to listen, do exactly what the manager tells him, and work hard. He also has the physicality that we need. You take Scott McTominay out this team, you lose one of their biggest physical presence and height from corners, which is also key, and you can't discount that. And you've seen it with other players. Bruno is getting better. Rashford getting back to where we want him to be. Sancho improving. The problem you've got with some Man United fans is they will want to ignore the improvements in certain players and highlight others. Delô, Sancho, I told you we needed a manager who's a great coach. You're going to speak McTominay? You're going to speak Rashford? They won't do it. For me, there's always going to be a few players. Now, I thought maybe Maguire would be one. But clearly, Maguire and Shaw are not. They're ones who, like, the manager clearly saw in those games where we were losing. Like,
you generally suck.
You two are legitimately part of the problem that we've got. And equally, as you say, Casemiro will eventually, in my opinion, oust
100%.
McTominay. And I also feel like over the next couple of windows, I think like players like Rashford could be replaced. I feel like players like, I actually think, listen, if we went and signed De Jong in January, I'm just making this up now, I think that's Eriksen being pushed down the pecking order. But I don't care as long as my team improves. But I've been really impressed with Scott McTominay because there was so much pressure on him. I mean, the guy is like, he must have the thickest skin in the Man United squad to take the level of crap he gets. I saw this guy recently post a picture of him out with his grandfather or great-grandfather, all his family there. I read the first 10 replies, and it made me embarrassed to be a human being. I would just thought to myself, the vile nature of those replies is horrible. Worse, listen, it's like, look, Pogba gets his crap. I mean, Pogba's own brother's trying to kidnap him in a minute. That guy's gone through crap. You know, Rashford gets crap. But imagine posting a picture with your elderly grandfather, and all you get from the first 10 people that reply is telling you how bad a footballer you are. And I'm being very, very nice when I say that. So for him to maintain professionalism, maintain fitness, and to perform like this, I'm really just impressed with him. Do I want him to be our main centre back for the next 5 years? No. But yeah, he's been really, really good.